It's funny. Sometimes the heaviest things we carry aren't in our hands at all, are they? They're in our minds. So today, let's explore the beautiful, profound freedom that comes when we finally learn the art of letting go.
And we're going to do this by diving into a timeless, beautiful story. It's one that really shows us how to set down those burdens and just walk freely again. Ready? Let's begin.
Okay, so our story starts with two monks walking along a path on a long journey. But the big lesson here, well, it doesn't happen at their destination. Nope, it shows up unexpectedly, right in the middle of a raging river. So I want you to just picture them for a second, walking together. There's a senior monk, older and seasoned by life. And then there's a junior monk, younger, really trying to follow the path and all the rules he's been taught. And then, right in front of them, this churning, powerful river, a real obstacle on their path. And right there, at the edge of the water, they see someone who needs help. It's a young woman, and you can just tell she's worried, staring at that powerful current with no idea how she'll get across. This moment, right here, this is where everything changes. Not just their paths, but their inner worlds too. So what happens next? Well, on the surface, it's a really simple act. But underneath, it reveals such a profound truth about the rules we think we have to follow, and more importantly, the burdens we choose to carry. The junior monk, well, he's sticking to the rules. His vows forbid touching a woman, so he just walks right past her and crosses the river all by himself. The senior monk, he sees something different. He sees a person in need. And so, he simply lifts the woman up, carries her right through that raging water, and sets her down safely on the other side. Places her down gently, they part ways, and that's it. The two monks just continue their walk in silence. For the senior monk, that whole moment, it's over, done. The act of kindness was complete. But as they kept walking, that silence started to feel heavy, Their feet were moving forward, but for one of them, a totally different journey, an internal one, full of turmoil, was just getting started. Finally, the junior monk just can't take it anymore. He can't hold it in. His mind has been churning even more than that river was. So he turns to his teacher, and his voice is just filled with confusion, maybe even a little bit of judgment, as he questions what he saw as a clear violation of their most sacred rules. Okay, and right here, this is the absolute heart of the lesson. Think about it. The senior monk, he broke a rule for just a moment out of pure compassion, and then, poof, he let it go, completely. But the junior monk, he didn't touch the woman, no, but he picked up the memory of it, and he carried that heavy weight for hours. So the senior monk looks at his student with so much kindness, and he asks this simple but incredibly powerful question. He says, "I left the woman at the river's edge a long way back. Why are you still carrying her?" Wow. He put her down physically, right? But the junior monk was still carrying her in his mind. Just let that sink in for a second. This ancient story, it's really a mirror for our own lives, isn't it? I mean, how often do we do this? How often do we carry people or arguments or old regrets long, long after they're over? These are our unseen burdens. And there's a name for this, right? We call it emotional baggage. It's really just the act of holding on to the weight of things that have already happened and letting them define our present moment. It's the exact same trap the junior monk was in. And this is so important to understand. When you hang on to a painful memory, every single time you replay it in your head, you are making yourself suffer all over again. It's like you're creating this cycle that keeps you anchored to a past that isn't even real anymore, and it stops you from flowing forward. So the big question is, how do we break out of that cycle? Well, it starts with a few key steps. First, just acknowledge it. The past is over. It's done. Second, and this one can be tough, is to accept that you cannot change it. And then, the real work begins, making a conscious choice to stop reliving the suffering, and instead, to turn all of that energy toward the amazing future you get to create. Okay, so now, let's bring this lesson home, to your river, to your journey. Let's just take a moment for some quiet reflection. I invite you to gently ask yourself, what do you still need? What person, what event, what old hurt have you been carrying long after you left that river's edge? Just see what comes to mind. No judgment at all, just notice. And then, what would it feel like? Can you imagine it? Really visualize yourself gently placing that burden down on the riverbank. watching it stay there as you turn and walk away. Can you feel that? The lightness in your shoulders? The new freedom in your step?
You see, the past isn't a place to live, it's a place to learn from. And once we've learned the lesson, its purpose is fulfilled. Life is just like that river. It only flows in one direction, forward. And when we try to resist that flow, all we create is more struggle for ourselves.
So, let's end with this final, beautiful thought. Now that your hands are free, now that your mind is clear, and you're no longer holding onto yesterday's burdens, what will you build? What incredible future can you start creating right now, in this moment? The possibilities, they really are endless.